Then monks, being myself subject to birth, having understood the danger in what is subject to birth, seeking the seeking the unborn supreme security from bondage, nibbana, I attain the unborn supreme security from bondage, nibbana. Being myself subject to aging, having understood the danger in what is subject to aging, seeking the unaging supreme security from bondage, nibbana, I attain the unaging supreme security from bondage, nibbana. Being myself subject to sickness, having understood the danger in what is subject to sickness, seeking the unailing supreme security from bondage, nibbana, I attain the unailing supreme security from bondage, nibbana. Being myself subject to death, having understood the danger in what is subject to death, seeking the deathless supreme security from bondage, nibbana, I attain the deathless supreme security from bondage, nibbana. Being myself subject to sorrow, having understood the danger in what is subject to sorrow, seeking the sorrowless supreme security from bondage, nibbana, I attain the sorrowless supreme security from bondage, nibbana. Being myself subject to defilement, having understood the danger in what is subject to defilement, seeking the undefiled supreme security from bondage, nibbana, I attain the undefiled supreme security from bondage, nibbana. The knowledge and vision arose in me. My deliverance is unshakable. This is my last birth. Now there is no renewal of being. So here the Buddha says he became enlightened in this place. I considered this Dhamma that I have attained is profound, hard to see and hard to understand, peaceful and sublime, unattainable by mere reasoning, subtle to be experienced by the wise. But this generation delights in worldliness, takes delight in worldliness, rejoices in worldliness. It is hard for such a generation to see this truth, namely specific conditionality, dependent origination. And it is hard to see this truth, namely the stilling of all volitions, the relinquishing of all attachments, the destruction of craving, dispassion, cessation, nibbana. If I were to teach the Dhamma, others would not understand me, and that would be wearying and troublesome for me. Thereupon there came to me spontaneously these stanzas never heard before, enough to teaching the Dhamma that even I found hard to reach, for it will never be perceived by those who live in lust and hate. Those died in lust, wrapped in darkness, will never discern this abstruse Dhamma, which goes against the worldly stream, subtle, deep, and difficult to see. Considering thus, my mind inclined to inaction rather than to teaching the Dhamma. Let's stop here for a moment. So our Buddha, after he became enlightened, then he considered and he realized that most living beings, most humans, will not want to learn the Dhamma or practice the Dhamma. That's why actually most Buddhas are Pacceka Buddhas. You can see 99.99% of Buddhas are Pacceka Buddhas, because we find the Buddha said that after he became enlightened, he looked into the past and he probably stayed awake the whole night, and he looked through the past 91 world cycles, and he saw only 6 Sammasambuddhas willing to teach the Dhamma to the world. Whereas in the Isigili Sutta, the Buddha says at one time there was this Isigili hill outside Rajagaha. At one time there were 500 Pacceka Buddhas staying on that hill. So you see, Pacceka Buddhas you can find a lot, but Sammasambuddhas are very, very few. So much for the Mahayana vow to become a Buddha. After they become a Buddha, they will not want to teach. Then monks, the Brahma Sahampati knew with his mind the thought in my mind, and he considered, the world will be lost, the world will perish, since the mind of the Tathagata, Arahant, Sammasambuddha, inclines to inaction rather than to teaching the Dhamma. Then just as quickly as a strong man might extend his flexed arm, or flex his extended arm, the Brahma Sahampati vanished in the Brahma world and reappeared before me. He arranged his upper robe on one shoulder, and extending his hands in reverential salutation towards me, said, Rebel Sir, let the Blessed One teach the Dhamma. Let the Sublime One teach the Dhamma. There are beings with little dust in their eyes who are wasting through not hearing the Dhamma. There will be those who will understand the Dhamma. The Brahma Sahampati spoke thus, and then he said further, in Magadha there have appeared till now impure teachings devised by those still stained. Open the doors to the deathless. Let them hear the Dhamma that the stainless one has found. Just as one who stands on a mountain peak can see below the people all around, so wise one, all-seeing sage, ascend the palace of the Dhamma, that the sorrowless one survey this human breed, engulfed in sorrow, overcome by birth and old age. Arise, victorious hero, caravan leader, deathless one, and wonder in the world. Let the Blessed One teach the Dhamma. There will be those who will understand. Then I listened to the Brahma's pleading, and out of compassion for beings, I surveyed the world with the eye of a Buddha. Surveying the world with the eye of a Buddha, I saw beings with little dust in their eyes, and with much dust in their eyes, with keen faculties and with dull faculties, with good qualities and with bad qualities, easy to teach and hard to teach, and some who dwelt seeing fear in blame and in the world. Just as in a pond of blue or red or white lotuses, some lotuses that are born and grow in the water thrive immersed in the water without rising out of it, and some other lotuses that are born and grow in the water rest on the water surface, and some other lotuses that are born and grow in the water rise out of the water and stand clear, unwetted by it. So too, surveying the world with the eye of a Buddha, I saw beings with little dust in their eyes, and with much dust in their eyes, with keen faculties and with dull faculties, with good qualities and with bad qualities, easy to teach and hard to teach, and some who dwelt seeing fear in blame and in the world. Then I replied to the Brahma Sahampati in stanzas, open for them are the doors to the deathless. Let those with ears now show their faith. Thinking it would be troublesome, O Brahma, I did not speak the Dhamma, subtle and sublime. Then Brahma Sahampati thought, I have created the opportunity for the Blessed One to teach the Dhamma, and after paying homage to me, keeping me on the right, he thereupon departed at once. I'll stop here for a moment now. This Brahma Sahampati, in some other sutta, I think the Samyutta Nikaya, it is stated that he was a monk in the previous life. So, after becoming a Brahma, so whenever somebody becomes enlightened, he knows that he should ask the enlightened one to teach the Dhamma. Also, the other thing you can infer from these few passages is that the difference between a Pacceka Buddha and a Sammasambuddha is only that one wants to teach and the other one does not want to teach. It's not like some other later books say. Some other later books say that the Pacceka Buddha doesn't know how to teach, cannot teach. That's not true. You see, our Buddha would have become a Pacceka Buddha, right? It's only because of Brahma Sahampati appealing to him that he decided to teach. So all Buddhas, because they have enlightened, they know the path so well. How can they not know how to teach? They all know how to teach. Only is whether they want or not. I considered thus: to whom should I first teach the Dhamma? Who will understand this Dhamma quickly? It then occurred to me, Alara Kalama is wise, intelligent and discerning. He has long had little dust in his eyes. Suppose I taught the Dhamma first to Alara Kalama, he will understand it quickly. Then deities approached me and said, Venerable Sir, Alara Kalama died 7 days ago. And the knowledge and vision arose in me. Alara Kalama died 7 days ago. I thought, Alara Kalama's loss is a great one. If he had heard this Dhamma, he would have understood it quickly. I considered thus, to whom should I first teach the Dhamma? Who will understand this Dhamma quickly? It then occurred to me, Uddaka Ramaputta is wise, intelligent and discerning. He has long had little dust in his eyes. Suppose I taught the Dhamma first to Uddaka Ramaputta, he will understand it quickly. Then deities approached me and said, Venerable Sir, Uddaka Ramaputta died last night. And the knowledge and vision arose in me. Uddaka Ramaputta died last night. I thought, Uddaka Ramaputta's loss is a great one. If he had heard this Dhamma, he would have understood it quickly. I'll stop here for a moment now. So here you see, after the Buddha was enlightened, he was looking for the most, the most suitable person to teach, and he decided on his 2 meditation teachers. Why? Because here, as the Buddha says, they have little dust in their eyes. How come they have little dust in their eyes? Because they have attained jhana. And because they have attained jhana, they have got rid of the 5 hindrances that obstruct wisdom. So, if you teach somebody who has jhana, who has got rid of the 5 hindrances, he will understand very quickly. So, even after these 2 persons also, the next few persons that the Buddha taught, they also had attained jhana, either in this lifetime or the previous lifetime. That's why, just upon hearing the Dhamma, many of them became arahants, just by hearing the Dhamma. The other thing I want to say here is, after the Buddha knew that Alara Kalama and Udakaramaputa had passed away and reborn in heaven, why didn't he go to heaven to teach them? Because it's not possible. Why? Because in some other sutta, the Buddha said that the flesh body can only fly as far as the Brahma world, the first jhana, heaven. The other heavens are too far away. This flesh body cannot reach. This rocket has got a limit. Although his mind, he may know there are some other beings there, but he cannot contact them, too far away. So these are the 2 things. Remember, the most ideal person to understand the Dhamma is one who has got rid of the 5 hindrances. And the minimum you need to get rid of the 5 hindrances was threshold concentration, very close to the first jhana. It's mentioned in the Digha Nikaya. I considered thus, to whom should I first teach the Dhamma? Who will understand this Dhamma quickly? It then occurred to me, the monks of the group of 5 who attended upon me while I was engaged in my striving were very helpful. Suppose I taught the Dhamma first to them. Then I thought, where are the monks of the group of 5 now living? And with the divine eye which is purified and surpasses the human, I saw that they were living at Benares in the deer park at Isipatana. Stop here for a moment. So after that the Buddha decided to teach the 5 monks who were his disciples when he was striving to become enlightened. So since the Buddha had already attained jhanas, I'm sure he would have taught the group of 5 monks. That's why he went to teach them, because they have also got rid of the 5 hindrances. Then monks, when I had stayed at Uruvela as long as I chose, I set out to wander by stages to Benares. Between Gaya and the place of enlightenment, the Ajivaka Upaka saw me on the road and said, "Friend, your faculties are clear. The color of your skin is pure and bright. Under whom have you gone forth, friend? Who is your teacher? Whose Dhamma do you profess?" I replied to the Ajivaka Upaka in stanzas, "I am one who has transcended all, a knower of all, unsullied among all things, renouncing all, by craving ceasing free. Having known this all for myself, to whom should I point as teacher? I have no teacher, and no one like me exists nowhere in all the world, with all its gods, because I have no person for my counterpart. I am the Arahant in the world. I am the teacher supreme. I alone am the Sammasambuddha, fully enlightened one, whose fires are quenched and extinguished. I go now to the city of Kasi to set in motion the wheel of Dhamma. In a world that has become blind, I go to beat the drum of the deathless." And Upaka said, "By your claims, friend, you ought to be the universal victor." And the Buddha said, "The victors are those like me who have won to destruction of taints or asavas. I have vanquished all evil states. Therefore, Upaka, I am a victor." When this was said, the Ajivaka Upaka said, "May it be so, friend." Shaking his head, he took a bypath and departed. So you see this Ajivaka is one of the type of ascetics who go naked. So this naked ascetic, when the Buddha told him that the Buddha was enlightened, he said maybe, he shook his head. Indians like to shake their head. And then he went off. So you see, it's not easy to teach somebody, sometimes they half believe you. In front of the Buddha, he met the Buddha, the all-knowing one. In front of the Buddha also, he just went off. Didn't want to learn under the Buddha. Then monks, wandering by stages, I eventually came to Benares, to the deer park at Isipatana, and I approached the monks of the group of 5. The monks saw me coming in the distance, and they agreed among themselves thus: "Friends, here comes the recluse Gotama, who lives luxuriously, who gave up his striving and reverted to luxury. We should not pay homage to him, or rise up for him, or receive his bowl and outer robe, but a seat may be prepared for him. If he likes, he may sit down." However, as I approached, those monks found themselves unable to keep their pact. One came to meet me and took my bowl and outer robe. Another prepared a seat, and another set up water for my feet. However, they addressed me by name and as friend. Stop here for a moment. These 5 disciples of the Buddha, they, together with the Buddha before enlightenment, they were striving very hard. Fasting, eating very little food, to the extent of eating 1 grain of rice a day. And later, when the Buddha realized that it nearly killed him, because he fell into a stream and was so weak he could not do 1 push-up to get out of the stream. So he was drowning, and a cowgirl pulled him out of the stream and saved his life. So after that, he realized that was the wrong way. He could have died easily. So he decided to take the middle path and eat 1 meal a day. And after eating 1 meal a day, he had enough strength to sit properly and meditate and attain the jhanas. And from there he became enlightened. So these 5 monks, because the Buddha decided to eat 1 meal a day, they thought the Buddha was too luxurious already, giving up all his ascetic practices. So they looked down on him and they left him. But during the period when they left him, the Buddha became enlightened. So now that the Buddha came back to them, they didn't realize that the Buddha was enlightened. They thought they don't want to greet the Buddha and all that. So they addressed the Buddha by name and as friend, Avuso. Thereupon I told them, "Monks, do not address the Tathagata by name and as friend." This Tathagata, in Chinese they translate as Ru Lai, but the proper name should be thus gone one. Thus gone one. Yes, enter Nibbana. The Tathagata is an Arahant, Sammasambuddha. Listen, monks, the deathless has been attained. I shall instruct you, I shall teach you the Dhamma, practicing as you are instructed. By realizing for yourselves here and now through direct knowledge, you will soon enter upon and abide in the supreme goal of the holy life, for the sake of which clansmen rightly go forth from the home life into homelessness. When this was said, the monks of the group of 5 answered me thus: "Friend Gotama, by the conduct, the practice and the performance of austerities that you undertook, you did not achieve any superhuman states, any distinction in knowledge and vision worthy of the Aryans. Since you now live luxuriously, having given up your striving and reverted to luxury, how would you have achieved any superhuman states, any distinction in knowledge and vision worthy of the Aryans?" When this was said, I told them, "The Tathagata does not live luxuriously, nor has he given up his striving and reverted to luxury. The Tathagata is an Arahant, Sammasambuddha. Listen, monks, the deathless has been attained. I shall instruct you, I shall teach you the Dhamma, etc." A second time, the monks of the group of 5 said to me, "Friend Gotama, by the conduct, practice and performance of austerities that you undertook, you did not achieve any superhuman states, any distinction in knowledge worthy of the noble ones, or Aryans. Since you now live luxuriously, having given up your striving and reverted to luxury, how will you have achieved any superhuman states, any distinction in knowledge and vision worthy of the noble ones?" The second time I told them that the Tathagata does not live luxuriously, etc. The third time, the monks of the group of 5 said to me, "Friend Gotama, by the conduct, the practice and the performance of austerities that you undertook, you did not achieve any superhuman states," etc. When this was said, I asked them, "Monks, have you ever known me to speak like this before?" And they said, "No, Venerable Sir." And the Buddha said, "Monks, the Tathagata is an Arahant, a Sama Sambuddha. Listen, monks, the deathless has been attained. I shall instruct you, I shall teach you the Dhamma. Practicing as you are instructed, by realizing for yourselves here and now through direct knowledge, you will soon enter upon and abide in the supreme goal of the holy life, for the sake of which clansmen rightly go forth from the home life into homelessness." I was able to convince the monks of the group of 5. Then I sometimes instructed 2 monks while the other 3 went for alms. And the 6 of us lived on what those 3 monks brought back from their alms round. Sometimes I instructed 3 monks while the other 2 went for alms. And the 6 of us lived on what those 2 monks brought back from their alms round. Then the monks of the group of 5, thus taught and instructed by me, being themselves subject to birth, having understood the danger in what is subject to birth, seeking the unborn supreme security from bondage nibbana, attain the unborn supreme security from bondage nibbana, being themselves subject to aging, sickness, death, sorrow and defilement, having understood the danger in what is subject to aging, sickness, death, sorrow and defilement, seeking the unaging, unailing, deathless, sorrowless and undefiled supreme security from bondage nibbana. They attain the unaging, unailing, deathless, sorrowless and undefiled supreme security from bondage nibbana. The knowledge and vision arose in them. Our deliverance is unshakable. This is our last birth. There is no renewal of being. Stop here for a moment. Here is not described, but in the Vinaya books, it is described that the Buddha taught the suttas to them one by one. The first sutta he taught was the Dhamma Cakkappavattana Sutta, the turning of the Dhamma wheel. And out of the 5 monks, Kondanya understood the Dhamma there and attained stream entry. And later the Buddha taught other suttas. And finally he taught the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta. And the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta was taught to these 5 monks. All of them attained arahanthood. So you see, actually the Buddha helped them to attain arahanthood by teaching them the suttas. They just listen to the suttas and attain enlightenment. Why? Because in the suttas the Buddha says there are 2 things that bring knowledge that are necessary for enlightenment: samatha and vipassana. Samatha is the practice that leads you to samadhi, and perfect samadhi, or right samadhi, or right concentration is the 4 jhanas. So the disciples probably had already attained the 4 jhanas. That's why the Buddha did not teach them meditation. The Buddha just asked them to sit down and listen. And listening to the Dhamma is vipassana. In the suttas, the meaning of vipassana is not insight, but contemplation. Contemplation. Just like the Chinese translation. The Chinese translation for samatha and vipassana is zhi guan. Zhi is stilling the mind, practicing tranquility meditation or serenity meditation. And vipassana is quan. Quan is contemplation. So the Chinese translation is correct. So this vipassana here refers to the listening to the sutta. Because that's all they did. They just sat and listened to the sutta. So because in the practice of sati, there are 4 objects of sati, right? The body, feeling, mind, and Dhamma. Dhamma refers to the Buddha's Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha. And out of these 4 objects, the most important is Dhamma, because it is mentioned that there are 5 occasions for enlightenment, and 4 of them have to do with contemplating the Dhamma. So here, there's a meaning of vipassana here, listening to the Dhamma and becoming enlightened.